QHD displays, quadruple cameras, titanium frames, blue bubbles, green bubbles, AI this, AI that, ecosystem, Bixby, all that noise. Let me put you onto some nerdy smartphone shit. First things first, phone companies love making up problems that don't exist. Every year they walk on stage like they developed a cure for the big C, just to announce that they made the corners 12% rounder. And it works because most people buy phones based on keynote buzzwords and YouTuber lingo like benchmark scores, RAM speeds, chip architecture. Meanwhile, their actual screen time is just TikTok, Reddit, and the occasional visit to the hub. You do not need a flagship. Actually, let me rephrase that. A good number of you are driving the smartphone equivalent of a Lambo to the grocery store. It doesn't help when companies like Samsung release 500 phones a year either. They got the Galaxy A, Galaxy S, Galaxy FE, Galaxy Plus, Galaxy Ultra, Galaxy Edge, Galaxy Fold, Galaxy whatever the f. Samsung has more phone lines than NBA Youngboy has children. But once you understand the lineup, it's actually pretty simple. Galaxy A, normal people. Galaxy S, fancy normal people. Galaxy Ultra, people who go to concerts to look at it through a phone screen. Galaxy Fold, not unless you're rich. Galaxy Note. Moving on from Samsung, let's talk about the biggest scam in smartphone history, megapixels. Phone companies have some weird fetish for megapixels, and now it's evolved into who could cram the most cameras on the back of their aluminum rectangles. I swear you can serve a succulent Chinese meal to a family of 4 on the camera bump of this damn Xiaomi, and consumers eat that shit up. They'll walk into a store and see 2 phones. One says 50 megapixels, the other says
powered by Hasselblad, quad cameras, 420 megapixels.
And immediately their monkey brain goes, big number, go brrr. No, that's like buying a car based on how many cup holders it has. Who cares that you could fit 19 bottles in your Subaru Ascent? How does it f***ing drive? A lot of the time, these companies just cram more pixels onto a sensor and then force software to do the heavy lifting. And while we're on the topic of numbers people don't understand, let's talk about processors for a second, because tech bros love processors. They'll be at the function scaring the hoes by yapping about why their Snapdragon 8 Gen 10 Quantum Edition is 7% faster than last year's model. Like, brother, you use your phone to watch shorts of people reacting to f***ing Drewski. You're not rendering f***ing Pixar movies. My point is, you don't need to know what nanometer architecture your Instagram machine is running on. The average person should care about exactly 4 things. The first is battery life. I don't care how many vapor chambers your gaming phone has. If it's dead by 4 p.m, it's garbage. You know what's cool? Getting home with 30% battery left. That's cool. The second thing is the screen. You want OLED if you can afford it. The contrast and colors are just way better, and they help with battery life as well. LCDs are cheaper and a bit more durable, and they look fine until you compare them side by side to OLED. But generally, if OLED is an option, just go for it. As for resolution, as long as we're talking 1080p or above on a phone-sized screen, you're probably chilling. 1440p is slightly sharper in my opinion, but it's pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. Also, get a high refresh rate display. Even if you swear you can't tell the difference, your eyes might just be cooked. It's way smoother for gaming, and once you use it, going back to 60Hz feels slow as f***. And at this point, even budget phones have it, so there's no excuse. Thirdly is the camera. And this is where most people tend to get confused, but most modern phones take good photos, like genuinely. The difference these days isn't usually whether a camera is good, it's how the phone decides reality should look. Because every company processes photos differently. Some actually try to keep things natural, while some of them would smooth the ancestry off your face. I already mentioned how minor of an issue megapixels are, so if you're weighing your options between more budget-oriented options, then focus on the sensor size, the image processing, and how the phone performs when the lighting isn't perfect. And finally, software support. This is the least exciting thing on the list, but it's also the thing people regret the most. Because eventually your shiny new phone becomes an old phone, and suddenly those updates matter a lot. So that's the essentials. Everything else is just nerd DLC. Now with that being said, let me put you onto some actual ball. Used phones. Now I know the majority of this video seems like I'm hating on flagships, but don't get me twisted. I understand that companies need to continuously push boundaries to maintain hype and fuel innovation. The problem is that most people are paying bleeding edge prices for technology they're never gonna use. A flagship from 2 or 3 years ago is still a flagship. That phone didn't wake up one morning and suddenly become ass. The camera's still good, the display is still good, the build quality is still good, and the processor that reviewers swore was more power than most people would ever need didn't magically become shit overnight. That's what makes older flagships so weird. The stuff that ages the fastest is usually the marketing. Meanwhile, you'll see people cross-shopping a brand new budget phone against an older flagship because they're the same price. And that's usually a massacre, because the budget phone is trying to give you a little bit of everything, while the flagship was built with absolutely no intention of being reasonable. When that phone launched, the goal wasn't value. The goal was to dominate the competition. And once the launch hype wears off and the price drops back down to earth, you get access to all that overkill for way less money. Now obviously there are exceptions. If your hobby is stress testing processors for fun, knock yourself out. But for normal people, the sweet spot is usually 1 or 2 generations behind the bleeding edge. Please subscribe.